Hey everyone, Action Movie Dad here with a quick but super helpful After Effects tip that I call 3D scene normalization. This video teaches you how to do it manually and also how to use the free normalize track script to make it even easier. I'll be using these two motion tracked clips for my examples. When you run a camera track, you never know what the scale of your 3D track world will be. Sometimes it's reasonable, and sometimes it's astronomical. But there's a way to make sure that every time you track a scene, it gets nicely aligned, centered, and is made a comp-appropriate scale, or normalized. Let's start by running a camera track. Once you've done that, use the handy plane creation tool to highlight a solid on the surface that you'd consider the ground plane. It's good practice to first right-click here and set this as the ground plane and origin, and then create a solid and camera. Name this solid ground for your reference. After that, create more solids and guides wherever you need. Once you're done and have all the guides you need, we begin the normalization process. So step 1, use the Z-axis or gizmo to align your ground plane visually with the footage. The green Y should be pointing into the distance and the red X should be pointed screen right. If you want, you can uniformly scale this plane by holding Shift, but don't manually do it. It's got to maintain a 1-to-1 ratio. Step 2, parent all of the 3D objects, including your camera, to the ground plane. This is where you'll get messed up results if you've squashed or stretched the ground plane to a non-square ratio. So really it's better just to leave your ground plane as is. Step 3, reveal the position of your ground plane by pressing P. After Effects sets its tracker origin to 0, 0, 0, but in my experience, the world center for an HD comp should really be 960 by 540 by 0. In other words, the X and Y should be half the comp dimensions. After all, this is the position that all of your added layers will default to. Step 4, set the orientation of your ground to 270 by 0 by 0. For a standard HD comp, this means your ground plane is now centered, properly oriented so up is up, down is down, and left and right are square to the world space in After Effects. Step 5 is to adjust the scale of the 3D world. I do this by creating a dummy solid that's the size of the comp, making it 3D, but leaving it unparented and scaled to 100%. You'll notice it should appear right in the center of my ground plane. Now, if I open up the scale of my ground layer, I can adjust it up or down until that dummy solid is a healthy size in frame. Once that's done, I can delete the dummy solid and unparent everything from the ground layer, and now this 3D scene is normalized. That means that whenever I import a new layer, stock footage, or create a new solid or text, that item will appear right in the center of this 3D world, oriented properly and easily moved in the X, Y, and Z space as you'd expect. This will save you the time of repositioning, rescaling, and reorienting every piece of footage you bring in. And it's also really helpful for plugins that utilize the 3D space, like Particular or Form. And 3D plugins like Video Copilot's Element 3D will have a great head start for getting you into your comp. And believe me, this saves time and also improves performance. After Effects and some plugins alike really hate super high numbers. You can also run into the opposite problem too, where your world is so small that everything you do feels really amplified in this undesirable way. Over the years, this process has become second nature to me, but it still does feel a little tedious. So now that you've eaten your vegetables, I have a treat for you. We showed this process to Joe at workbench.tv and asked if there was an easier way. And he said,
"Oh, yeah."
Introducing the free Normalize track script from Workbench. It's a one-click solution for normalizing your 3D scene. Now here's how this baby works. Download the free Normalize track script file and place it in your After Effects script folder or run it manually from whatever location you want. It's clean and compact. I love it. I'll just place it over here for right now. The process starts the same as before. You run the camera tracker, create your ground plane, and name it ground or floor. And be sure to do that. Create all the other tracking solids and nulls that you want, and then use your own beautiful eyes to align the ground plane visually using the Z gizmo. Once that's aligned, select all your 3D guides, including the ground. With these layers selected, we can head up to the handy Normalize track script and press the Normalize button. And really, that's it. Now check it out, the position of your ground layer is automatically set to the comp center, no matter what the size of your comp. The orientation is automatically set, and using, I'm gonna say, math, the comp has been scaled so a 3D layer with the same resolution of the comp will come in centered, aligned to the world, and fit nicely within frame. All of the benefits listed before, one click. Now, one of the drawbacks to my method of normalization is that it was destructive in a way. The camera tracking data on the original footage layer was no longer relevant. And if you tried creating a new plane, you'd be out of luck. It's broken now. But using his big sexy brain, Joe came up with the idea of storing the original data from your ground plane in this hidden locked null below. Since it's stored here, at any time you can go back to your original tracked layer and select and create a plane or null using the camera tracker interface. And after you've created it, simply select it and press the plus button to add it to your normalized scene, and boom, it snaps right into place. If for any reason I want to revert the whole project back to its pre-normalization state, I can select all my 3D layers and then press the minus button to reset everything how it was. And then of course, once you realize that's a mistake, you can just select all the layers again and press the normalize button, and you're back. The help button here gives a quick rundown of what these tools do if you need a quick refresher. But for real, I will use this script every single time I run the 3D tracker. It's that useful.
I want to be normal! Normal!
What an amazing script. Here are some of my friends to say,
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Joe, for everything.
have a look around Workbench while you're here. See what's cooking. They got lots of other helpful tips and tricks. Thanks for stopping by, and have a wonderful day, everyone.